Hey everyone. So I have the Oracle card reading for the week of March 24th through March 30th. This card from the deck Angelic Lightwork by Elena Fairchild is called Fatherhood and the Divine Masculine. So kind of a cool looking card. See that sword in the middle. We're not going to get all Freudian with this card, but I really do think that there is something to be said about masculine energies, because we have both in our bodies, right? We have both masculine and feminine energy, and how we navigate the two of them is how we sort of circulate through the world. So I think there's something to be said about that. And then I also think there's a lot to be said always about how the people in our life impact us. But specifically in this case, let's talk about how either men or fathers or father figures, how they and how you have been raised and treated as you were growing up, and even today, how that impacts us. So I think that there's a lot to be said about feelings that we might have around unworthiness, maybe not feeling like we're enough, not having value, feeling like we're not worthy of time and attention, especially. I think that's a big one. How we present ourselves to the world, especially in relationships, and trying to figure out how we should be receiving love, how we present for that, has a lot to do with the men in our lives, and whether that is the fathers or the father figures. So I probably will say fathers moving forward, but no, I also mean father figures, which could be dads, stepdads, grandfathers, mom's boyfriends, like uncles. There are lots of those kinds of figures in our lives. Um, so I think that there's a lot to be said about those stereotypes, and maybe what, like, sort of that old school process of, or thought of, like, mom was raising the kids and then dad was at work. And so there's something there, right? Mom, if the expectation is that dad is at work and we don't really spend a lot of time with him, then that's where that thought process comes back to, like, no, we're not worthy of receiving time and attention, like, especially from a male energy, then it's because dad didn't have the time and attention to give us. So I think there's something to that. But then I also think there's more to do with the male energy versus the female energy, and how we share our thoughts, how we share our feelings. How does that lead to how we communicate with one another, and then how we make people feel. Um, so I think that there's a lot here, and there's probably a lot that you have buried. And last week and over the last couple of weeks, we've talked a lot about traumas, how we grow through them, how we heal through them, what are the modalities that we use. And so now I'm going to ask you to think about that, all of that, from the standpoint of this masculine relationship and what that did to create who you are and how you move through the world. And then I want you to recognize that this is really challenging, because how you love, how you react, how you respect, is all coming from that. But I think this is especially challenging because if I'm challenging you to think about how you were impacted by these people, it doesn't matter that you love these people or that you have, the utmost most respect for these people. There are still things that happen there, right? Like, I frankly have busted my ass to be a good mom. You know that I raised three boys. I've busted my ass their entire lives to be the best mom that I can be. Did that make me perfect? It sure did not. None of us is perfect. None of us is doing anything perfect. So there is no doubt in my mind that I have said things, I have done things, I did not do things that they needed me to do that have impacted them, how they feel about themselves, how they move about the world, how they, like, live in confidence, and all of those sorts of things. There's no doubt in my mind that all three of those boys have things to work through based on what I said, did, or did not do for them. And so it is okay. You get to feel all the love in the world for this father figure, this dad, this whatever this person is to you, and recognize that they were not perfect. They might have said some things, they might have done some things, and you get to be okay with that. It's okay. It happened, right? It's definitely happened. We're not perfect, and it's okay. So my point is that you get to have those feelings, you get to face those feelings, and you don't have to feel guilty about those feelings. You get to decide how you move forward with those feelings. So in some cases, it might be really helpful for you to talk through some of those things with those people. If they are still alive, if they're still available to you, then you make this decision, right? Some people will be super receptive, sorry. They will understand exactly where you're coming from and how that landed for you, and they might be sorry about that. And there's probably nothing they can do to change it except acknowledge that that happened. Other people, though, might not be so much. And so they maybe still haven't dealt with whatever it is that they need to deal with in order for them to be able to have that conversation. So maybe you have the conversation, maybe you don't. If you don't think they're going to be receptive to that, if you think they're just going to make excuses or get mad or be defensive, and it's not going to be productive and it might just make you feel worse than you already than where you started, then don't have the conversation. But that doesn't mean you don't have to face it or that you don't have to figure out how to move through that. It's okay. You still get to do that. So again, you make that decision. Don't make this decision based on being a chicken and not wanting to have the hard conversation, because the hard conversation is what helps move you through it. But you have to decide if this is a conversation that is worth having or not. So you decide what is right for you to be able to move forward through this. So doing that, figuring out how to move through that helps you learn how to heal. It helps you become a little bit stronger than what like the strength that you have right now. You'll gain more, so that'll be great. It will change the belief system that you have in yourself. It will change your own confidence and how you are looking at the world and how you are moving forward, and then how you get to the point of creating your own heart's desires. So I hope that you will take the time to do that. Here is my suggestion. This is one way, this is how I would start. So that's what I'm going to give you. This is how I would do this and how I have done so many of these things, right? So you have to ask yourself the hard question, and only you are going to figure out what is that hard question. It might be, did you have the relationship with this person that you wanted? Did they treat you the way that you wanted and the way you feel like you were deserved to be treated? Were their actions hurtful to you? Figure out what that is. And even if you don't get the question right, it's okay, because the answer will come to you no matter what. And so whether you decide that was the right question or the wrong question, or I should have asked this question, doesn't matter. Start asking the question, and then you'll get the answer that was ultimately what you were looking for. Once you have asked that question, then figure out what it is that you need to do to work through it. So maybe it is talk therapy, maybe it is those holistic modalities that we've been talking about. I will tell you that for me, the place to start is this. I ask the question and then I go for a walk. If I can get in the woods, that's even better. And then the next step will be some sort of meditation. So if I can sit in a meditative state, and then I do some journaling. So walk, meditation, journal. So what is happening there is the walk is I am moving those energies through my body. I've asked the question. I am then moving the energies through my body. If there's something stuck, if there's something I don't want to face, it's starting to move. It's coming about. When I am meditating, I am breathing. I'm getting myself into that Zen state. That mindfulness is where some of those answers are going to start to come to the surface, and they're not going to be coming to me at that moment in meditation necessarily. Sometimes they actually do hit me smack in the face, whether I wanted it or not. But often it's not quite there, but it's raising to the surface. And then journaling for me is just I know what the question was. I've moved the energy. I've gotten to that meditative, mindful state. And then I'm just free writing. And that free writing is where things come out. And so that's where it doesn't matter what the question was, you're going to get the answer. And it might lead you exactly where you thought you were going. This person said this person did this person should have done this. Or maybe it's going to take you somewhere completely different that you completely unexpected. You had no idea. It wasn't even about that at all. It actually was about something completely different. So that for me, that is my magic elixir. That is the thing that gets me to that point. You might need more, and that's okay. This might just open up the tip of the iceberg, and it will get you to a point that is maybe not so great. And you need to walk and you need to meditate and you need to do more journaling, or you need to get to those other therapies, and that is okay too. So be prepared if you do open the floodgates and something comes out that you were not expecting and that you have to start to deal with at that point. It is perfectly fine. It is actually the good thing that we want to have happen. It might not feel really good in that moment, but it will get you to that point. So be open to that. That's your growth, that's your healing. And then that brings you back to the gratitude that we talked about last week, which is that full circle of how we get better and become better and be better. So all of that to say, do not forget my self-care workshop has opened up. It is on my website, www.drtanyab.com. That workshop is $44 and it includes a workbook, a series of videos, a meditation, and then some like strategies and reflections to help you figure out how you are going to take care of you so that you can show up for the world as your best self. So sign up for that. And then also while you're at my website, sign up for the emails so that you can stay caught up on what I have going on. Reach out. You might go through some stuff. If you do this, you might go through some stuff this week. So reach out. Let me know how you're doing. I love hearing from all of you. Ask the questions. Let me know what I can do to help you. I think that's all for now. I hope that you have a fabulous, fabulous week. Love and light, my friends. I absolutely love and adore you. I hope that you have a great week. Take care of yourself.